Yeah, yeah, yeah. We live with Mikey T, the movie star, right here on Report Card Radio, man. Y'all niggas stay tuned in, man. It's going down. Philly shit. Easy.
I was listening to the album, The Formula, new project. It's definitely dope. Cassidy, you're really rolling right now. You know, you had the science come out. Now you've got the formula out right now on all platforms. It's going to be followed up by the Wise Man. And you also appeared in DJKSlay's Rolling 50 Deep, man. What's going on with you?
Just working, man. Staying consistent, man. I'm about to drop 3 projects in the 6-month time period. I dropped the first one October 6th. I just dropped the formula, and I'm gonna drop the next one February the 1st. So that's gonna be 3 projects in the 6-month time period. Like you said, I've been doing a bunch of features too, aside of the CASSIDY one. I've been doing a lot of records with a lot of artists that's about to be released soon. We actually about to do another CASSIDY record like that, rolling 100 deep. I'm about to go even more crazy with it. So.
Yep, I know you're known for doing stuff like that. I remember one record you actually united many of the artists in Philly. What brought about this reconnection with DJKSlay, Cass?
DJKSlay was like one of the first DJs I ever started working with when I came to New York. I think he was the first DJ, like mainstream DJ, to put me on a mixtape. So I've been rocking with him since I was a teenager, and just maintain a relationship over all of these years. And he know that I'm known for bars, so when he was putting together a record like that, he had to tap in.
Yep, that was crazy. He had the new school. He had like Benny the Butcher on there. He even had guys like MOP on there, man. But that's dope to hear. Rolling 100 deep, because, man, that caught a lot of attention online. You know, Cassidy, you've been in the game for 20 years. Right now, how are you feeling about everything that's been going on as of late? You know, pandemic, quarantine, how much has it affected you?
It ain't really affected me at all. I live pretty much a quarantine life anyway. I mean, I stay away from people. I be pretty much to myself and with my family anyway. So I ain't really have to switch too much in my life. I'm down here in Atlanta, so you know what I mean, most of the things has been open and still flowing smooth. So I ain't really been too affected. I guess by the world being affected, not as much money coming in because people ain't been able to work and been able to move around. There's less opportunities to do shows, to tour, even to get features done. You know, artists might be struggling, might not got the bag that they used to having. So it could affect you in that way. But I try to stay busy and have a lot of other shit going. So if I come through a dry spot or a hard time in one area, I got other areas that hold me down. I've been out for so long, I'm used to this. This not the first like pandemic or like problem or trouble that I went through where I had to maintain. So I'm pretty good.
So, Cass, on the album, The Formula, let's talk about The Formula a little bit. One of the first things that caught my attention that you says that was that you made your first $1 million. I want you to take me back to making your first $1 million. How did that change your life?
I was young at the time, so it ain't really changed my life that much, the actual money. The success and the fame that came along with it, people recognizing you, knowing your name, knowing who you are, that changed my life a lot. But the actual money, it didn't change my life too much. Yeah, I can't say the actual money changed my life too much. I'm not really interested in money. I'm a hustler. I know how to get to it, and I know there's a billion ways to get money. And if you're smart, you could figure out how to get money in a lot of different ways. So money never really affected me. I always wanted to be that boy, to be the best lyrically. So that was my main focus, and shit wasn't going right as far as the business go and how I wanted my career to go. So even though the money was coming in, I still wasn't like in the right place at that time. It wasn't like celebration time and I was super happy. I was actually frustrated. When I had the most money was when or the most money coming in. That one time when I had the most money coming in and flowing in is when I was like probably the most miserable.
You said on the album, The Formula, I wasn't even 20 when I signed. How old were you when you actually signed your first deal, and what do you remember most about it?
I was 17 years old. Um, I had Philly on fire. I was on the cypher running around just killing Philly. So I got called out to New York. It was with the Rough Riders. I signed my first deal. And it was in a 3-man group, Larceny Family, me, Shiz, Lansky, and Kyle Akbar. And when we first went out to New York, I think I was 16. But when we actually signed the deal, I was 17 years old. I had to get my parents to sign for me. You know, when you sign a record deal, if you're not old enough to sign off for yourself, your parents got to be present to actually sign the contract for you. So that's how it went down.
That must have been a crazy reaction to your mom and dad seeing you involved in a record contract like that. You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure.
But you mentioned it on the album, Cass, so that's why I want to go here. We haven't actually spoke on R. Kelly, really. So you mentioned R. Kelly on the formula, but could you tell me about actually first meeting R. Kelly?
I met R. Kelly when I was working on my first album. He was on my first single, Hotel. So when I was wrapping up the album, I had a lot of songs done already. We was like about to wrap it up, but I needed that like big single. So we was looking for a certain type of feature, like a singer type of feature. The label that I was on at the time, J Records, they was like a pop label. They was used to working like big top 40 type of records. And I had like more hard street records. So I needed like a type of record that they'll be able to work, that'll be able to cross over and things like that. So we was thinking about a singer to put on it, and you know, me, Swiss Beats, Grady Spivey was an A&R that was down at the time. We all came up with the idea to get R. Kelly on the song. So we had the idea for Hotel and the direction that we wanted to go, but we put it together to go meet R. Kelly out in Chicago. So we went out there, and we went in the studio. He was just in the studio. We played the beat and let him know the concept, and he just started singing right away. He just started singing all type of crazy hooks. Actually, when he recorded the Hotel hook, he laid a lot more than that. Like when we did the Hotel remix, it was like a different hook. But he did that the same time that he did the first hook. People think he probably came back and did a new hook. But he did so much that first time that we had so much to work with that we was able to make multiple hooks and multiple bridges out of what he did the first time. So I was astonished by how multiple beats was coming on, and every time a beat come on, he would just sing a hook right away. Like he didn't even really have to zone out to listen to the beat long. Soon as it dropped, he was already singing crazy ass melodies. So, and I was young at the time. I was just getting in the game. I didn't even have a single out. So I was already a super R. Kelly fan. So to be working with Swiss Beats and be in the studio about to do your first single with R. Kelly, it was big for me. Actually, Twista, he came through the studio that day, R. Kelly studio, and I got to hear Twista rap. We were spitting some bars back and forth and all of that. And once he recorded the chorus, we left. I went back to my hotel. I was really in the hotel with Swiss, and that's when I wrote the record, like wrote my part and finished it like that. But that was my first time meeting him, and that was my only time meeting him. I never got a chance to meet him after that.
Okay, so that was actually one of my next questions. Was there ever a chance for you and R. Kelly to actually work together again after the success of Hotel? Was there ever talks about you guys actually reconnecting for another single? I know what you just said, that you guys had a lot of extra vocals from Kells that we ended up hearing on the remix. So Hotel actually had a remix to it, but was there ever any future plans to pair up again?
I think Hotel remix was featuring Trina. Yeah, it was Trina, the queen bitch. And
shout out to Trina.
Yeah, it was a big record, man. So, but I wasn't even responsible for putting the first record together with R. Kelly. So, after we did that record, we started to develop a relationship like through other people and phone calls. Like we never met up with each other, but we was keeping in contact through people, and we were supposed to work again, but it just never came together. actually was supposed to perform with R. Kelly one time. The second time that we were supposed to meet, we actually was in the same building, but we ain't meet up yet. I just met with his peoples. And it was on the tour when him and R. Kelly, him and Jay-Z had the Best of Both Worlds project out. And I think they was touring and they was doing Madison Square Garden. And I was supposed to come out with R. Kelly and perform that day. But there was a situation where like a fight broke out and the concert got shut down or something. So I never got a chance to perform with him. And I didn't get a chance to see him that day.
So Cass, we were talking about you were 17 years old, you signed your first deal. How many years later was it that you had done the record with R. Kelly? What was it, 5 years later?
Nah, it was about, I would say like probably 4 years later, 4 to 5 years after I signed was when I did the song with R. Kelly. Because the first album came out in 03. So we might have did the record in probably 02. Maybe. Yep. Maybe 02. So yeah, I would say like 5 years after I got signed was when I started, like I got signed at 17. I was signed to Rough Riders. That was just a production company, but I wasn't signed to a major label. Like I ain't have no budgets opened up. I ain't have no money. I didn't have no money invested into me. I just was signed to Rough Riders as a production company. So some people think when you get signed to a production company, that's just like a record label and that's it. That's the final stop. But no, people get signed to production companies and then they get signed to a major or some type of company that could distribute the music. So I didn't have that behind us. Me and Larceny Family, we was just signed to Rough Riders trying to work towards that. You know what I mean? So that's how I was able to get with Swiss because he was down with Rough Riders at the time to start Full Surface, which was the production company that we started for me to get free from Rough Riders and do my own thing. So that process took years. I signed the Rough Riders when I was 17. For me to develop that relationship with Swiss and start working with him, it took about 3 years. And after I started working with Swiss, it still took a few years after that to get it off the ground. But once I started working with Swiss, I went to J Records, Clive Davis, and I got a deal with them. So Full Surface was my production company, just like Rough Riders was. But I got a deal with J Records as an artist. So they was my distribution. They provided the budgets, the money, and everything like that. And the production company is just required to make the album and then deliver it. You know what I'm saying? So when I got a solo artist deal with J Records, that's when money started coming to the table. That's when budgets opened up. I was able to get in the studio and pay for features like R. Kelly and do things like that. So that's when I started putting my project together around that time. And around the time, like when the Freeway battle happened, that was like when budgets started opening up and I started working on my project, but I ain't have no music out yet. I was still cooking.
First of all, actually, before we even get into it, man, I want to say all due respect to Freeway, RIP to Freeway's son. Very sorry to hear about that.
My condolences. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. But I wanted to ask you a little bit about that notorious battle, man. And just, can you tell me how the battle with Freeway actually came about?
I was with Swiss and we had to go to the studio to work on this Mary J. Blige song that Swiss produced. Jay-Z was rapping on it. But they did it like a long time ago. And some of the shit that Jay-Z was rapping about was a little outdated. Maybe some of the clothes or something. So they wanted to like update the song. Swiss to adjust the beat a little bit and Jay-Z to do like a different verse. Jay-Z wasn't there and Mary wasn't there. It was just me and Swiss. We in the studio and Swiss working on the music. I get hungry. So I get the driver to take me to McDonald's. And while I'm going to McDonald's in the car, I hear Rockefeller on the radio. And this one, they had that time, it's like a legendary time that they was on the radio in New York. And they was all rapping and going crazy on that jump. And Jay-Z was saying that he had the hottest young boys in the world and they was willing to battle. And he said somebody called up the radio station and asked to battle, but they only had $1,000. So he was like, holla, and they was making fun of niggas, and they wasn't talking about me, but just me coming up at that time and being the young nigga that was really active. I just felt like they was talking about me. So when I came back from the McDonald's, I went in the studio and I'm like, yo, Swiss, these niggas was just on the radio talking crazy. like talking about this. He like, yeah, well, it don't matter because Jay-Z about to come to the studio anyway. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm just sitting over there on the couch, and not too long after that, Jay-Z come. But he like come by himself. He don't come with none of them or nothing. You know what I mean? And Swiss introduced me as the hottest, you know what I mean, up and coming artist. Like I'm his artist, I'm hot as shit. And he like, what? Hove like, what? You ain't just hear my young boys on the radio? I got the hottest young boys. What? Like, he don't even look. Then he start coming at me. He like, man, yo, this nigga don't even look big enough for Beanie. Look how small he is. Like, I know you don't want it with Free. He's like, what? How old is you? What I gotta put you against my 16-year-old Chris? Cause you look a little young. And he start like coming at me. Then he sat next to me and start really coming at me. So back then I was like a little high-headed. This before I had any success. I was like straight off the street. So I stood up. I'm like, nigga, I don't give a who you called through here. I would kill any of them niggas. Like, I don't give a like, what are you talking about? Like, nigga, but he wasn't familiar with me at the time. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of niggas be having little rappers, but he must not have knew the type of rapper I was. So he called them through. Yeah, we got some nigga in the studio. I need y'all to come through. So he start calling niggas through. Swiss start calling niggas through. Rough Riders was in the studio right down the street. So niggas started pulling up. Next thing you know, Beans come through with Oskino, Chris, all them niggas come through. And we're free. And when they all came in the room, all our niggas in the room now, cameras rolling, like, now, who you say you wanted to battle? I'm like, nigga, I told you, I ain't say I wanted to battle none of these niggas. I told you any of these niggas could get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's when they started like, yo, who gonna go? Who gonna go? And the niggas like, free, go ahead, free. And I guess probably because Free just killed it on the radio and they was working on his project at the time. Free was like that, like one of the top niggas. But I don't think that was a good decision, especially because they was working on this project and the type of style he got. I don't think, because I'm from Philly. I know them. Like, I know everybody that's there. I know how they rap. So I'm thinking they going to definitely choose Beans. You know what I'm saying? But Beans knew how I give it up. When he came in the room, he like, oh, shit, B from the Cypher. You know what I mean? He knew. They didn't tell him it was me. So they thinking it's just some regular nigga. So they come in there and they see me. They like, oh, shit. So I'm thinking, like, if they don't pick Beans, they got to at least pick Oskino. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can't pick Free, like, with that in and out flow he got is
Right.
high on beat. But battle style is going to be hard to catch niggas. And they kept picking Free. So I'm like, and that's how the shit went down. And that's why if you watch the Free battle, he like, man, like when I'm like, you ain't fucking with me. He like, man, you want to bet? I'm like, nigga, we could bet. We could do whatever. You not fucking with me. That's why I'm saying it like that, because I thought they was going to replace Free with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted them to do. But they ain't do that. And that's how the shit went down.
Well, you definitely got the number 2 guy, if you could even look at it like that, because, I mean, Beanie, Freeway, the Young Guns all became formidable artists under the rock. But I want to ask you, Cass, who did Jay-Z and Swiss look at as the winners of that battle?
Oh, you already know. Like, they was frustrated at Free. Mac was screaming on Free when he left. Why the fuck you stop? Like, it was like a... But after they all left, Jay-Z still had to stay. The latest verse for the Mary J. Blige song I was telling you about. So I'm in there, I'm rolling up, and he gave me my props. Like, you know what I'm saying? He slept on me before that, but niggas ain't had no choice. It was like obvious. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he quit, like, put on a beat. Nah, straight raw. He quit. He stopped rapping. So back then, before like these new battle leagues and all that shit, those is the rules. Like, once you pause or mumble, the other person start rapping again. And if you stop or you quit, it's over. It's like you lost. It's like that's how it used to be. So it was clear in everybody's eyes who won.
So I said that maybe the most likely versus battle for you would be Meek Mill, but do you ever see something happening with Freeway again in the future? Maybe a versus or even just a rematch battle?
Nah, I don't think that'd be a good idea right now. Like, you know what I mean? After all of this Time, I'm not really interested in battling them, but I would, you know what I'm saying? I'll battle anybody if the situation is right. You know what I mean? I'll battle my wife, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck who it is. Like, if the money right, situation right, we can make it happen. One of the songs I was just listening to is one of the joints we did with Static Selector. I was talking about some chess shit in it. Like, I did this chess scheme. Not Bobby Fischer or Joshua Wakeskin, but I'm great with the pen flow, tougher than snakes. Y'all gotta pull it up. It's me and Free on the Static Selector, John, and we did some other shit too. Like me and Free, we worked after the battle. Hopefully we might work again, but as far as battling, I don't know. And the verses, I don't know if Free would be a good versus for me, but I mean, I'm willing to do it. It don't matter. I do a versus against anybody. My clip's so crazy. If you go on any of these platforms and you look at how much material I drop and look at my top songs, it's like dudes that's been out 10, 20 years even before me don't got a catalog that huge. Like, so I got a lot of shit that I could touch on. So I'm ready. It don't matter.
I mean, I could think of 10 off the top of the head, you know what I mean, just to get started, just the first hour.
Like, I'm going to bring out some sneak stuff that people not probably even aware that I wrote. And when I play these joints, it's like, I got a lot of stuff, so I'm ready.
Right. Even down to your commercially appealing street records. You know what I mean?
Sure.
B-Boy Stance, AM to the PM.
That's the reason why I don't think I got no competition, because I go so crazy with the bars and just blacking out so crazy on that street shit and that hard shit that it's going to be hard to find anybody that could just go that hard. But if they do go anywhere near that hard, they'll never have top 40 records, like big records. So to do both is like pretty much impossible. And there's not too many artists that could match that. So it's going to be hard to find a person that'd be a good versus for me.
So did you ever get to have that battle with Beanie Siegel?
Nah. Beanie Siegel always respected how I gave it up. He actually a fan of how I battle. He used to be tapped into the cypher. And when I first met him, he told me that he used to listen to me all the time. And that's why when the Freeway battle happened, he came in like, oh shit, B from Philly, because he knew me. Like, he knew how I was giving it up. But after that, you know what I mean, we developed a relationship. We did records. The record with me, him, and Fabulous, you already know. That's a record I put together, had Beans come through because I always wanted to do some shit with him. So I put that together with them.
I want to ask you, man, did you ever get a chance to meet Dark Low when he was rocking with A.R.A.B?
For sure. Definitely. I actually had Dark Low when I went up Power 99, a come-up show. We blacked out. I took A.R.A.B up there one day. Dark Low was with me. Dark Low, Breeze, Brigettes. That's his name, right? Breezy.
Yep.
And Jag was with us. So we all went up to come up show. But I met Dark Low a lot of times.
That's what's up, man. Could you, Dark Low actually just got out of jail. He's actually just been released from the FDC. I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what you thought of his character. Also, I just wanted to welcome him home here on the platform as well.
See, a lot of people from the outside looking in think that I had issues with people in OBH. Like, me and the people, nobody in OBH never even had an argument before. Like, I never even raised my voice, and nobody never even raised their voice at me before. Like, it's always been love. The last time I was around Dark Low, he was having some issues with his PO. And his PO was like giving him problems. It was so long ago, I can't remember the issue, but I think it was about traveling or the time he was staying out or whatever. So, you know what I mean? I had wrote a note to his PO to let him know that he was down on his music shit. And I had him covered so he could move around better. You know what I mean? Made his PO ease up off of him. So that was the last time we was around each other. After that, I just seen him on the blogs when AR started going crazy on the blogs. He was just with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we never had no communication after that. But the last time I seen him, it was all love. There was no real issues between us. You know what I mean?
So
So
for you to actually bring Low up on the radio station with you, did Ab like approach you like, yo, this is my guy Dark Low, he actually raps too? How did that go about?
yeah, I knew them from, that's how I met them. I knew them from the beginning from rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first got down with AR Ab, it was a different OBH. Like it was other rappers. Like, you know what I mean? Like some of them niggas that I said told on me when we all caught the case, they was like rappers that was down with Ab. You know what I mean? So it was different OBH. But as the years passed, he started getting more niggas and you know what I mean? He started telling me, yo, this nigga and this nigga and he, you know what I'm saying? And on the strength of him, I started to develop a relationship with them. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I brought them on the radio station because they was connected to him. That was his team. Just like Jag was like connected to me. So, you know what I mean? That's the reason why I did that. I never was OBH or I never like signed the OBH or even like I only was dealing with Ad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that was his team. So, you know what I'm saying? I was showing them love, always shout them out or do whatever I could do to help them because that was his niggas.
Thanks, man. Definitely appreciate that. Welcome home to Dark Low. Definitely a new story that many people probably haven't heard right there as well. Cass, that's a real thing that you did, man. It sort of reminds me of when Irv Gotti told me that he first signed Black Child. Black Child was on probation, and he was like, here's a $30,000 check. Take that back to your PO and let him know that you have a real job here. So that's commendable. You know what I mean? Giving Dark Low a platform like that so we could show that he was really about this music.
Yeah, because I was on probation for the longest from dealing with that case, that situation, that shit I caught. So I know what it was like. But through the grace of God, I was able to work it out with all of the POs I had and figure out a way to still move around and make it happen. But I know the pressure that be on you. So that's why, you know what I mean? There was no problem for me to do it. As soon as he asked me, I'm like, yo, I got you. And he was moving around doing the music shit with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I had him around, see, people get this confused too. A lot of the blogs they talk about street shit and shit they used to do in the street. That's when they was in the street. But when they was with me, we was doing this music shit. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was lying. That's what them niggas was around to do, music. Like, I wanted niggas to be even more creative and go even more harder. The harder you go, the more you gonna get from it. So my shit was always just work ethic, keep it pushing, like, need more of this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the tip I was on. Everybody let you know that's how I always carried it and still to this day. Anytime niggas call me, I got my book in front of me, clip full, just banging out beats, just constantly working, never stop. And once you get in that mode, you become unstoppable. Nobody can stop you because you so locked in and it ain't nothing that you could do. So even on the dry times or the down times, you're going to be able to stay above water because you'll be consistent and constantly going in.
You know, Poundside Pop has been making a lot of noise in Philly lately.
For sure. Definitely making some noise.
Did you ever get a chance to meet and interact with Poundside Pop?
Nah, never. I never met him. I don't think so. I mean, you know, I met a lot of people in my life, but I don't think I ever met him. I don't believe I did. And they get on air like, nah, I met Cash. You came to my block when I was young. I said what's up to you. You don't remember? Like, I don't think I met him though. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's true. That's facts, man, because that happens a lot. You know what I mean? When somebody's younger and they meet somebody that they look up to, you know what I mean? They change appearances and stuff like that. Like Little Uzi Vert. You know what I mean? Did you ever get a chance to meet Little Uzi Vert?
I don't think so. I don't think I never met Uzi Vert. No.
Right. You know what I mean? But people change appearances and stuff. You know what I mean? Like Philly's getting it popping right now. So I want to speak on this, Cassidy, because it was Poundside Pop did an interview where he said Meek Mill actually only offered him $10,000 to $20,000 to sign a deal with Dream Chasers. And since you were just breaking down your situation with Larceny Family and Rough Riders, I wanted to get your take on Meek Mill offering a small sum of $10,000 to $20,000 to a Poundside Pop.
Well, I'm not in the industry. This industry is a crooked business, man. Nobody never playing fair. None of the deals that you ever hear about niggas getting is fair. Like, it's always going to side towards the people that's cutting the checks. It's never going to be more on the side of the artist. That's how they set up the business to be. So I guess when you're an artist and you're trying to get in the business, you got to make a decision what you're doing it for. Is it for the culture, or is it just for a bag? Is it just for money? You know what I mean? And that'll help you make all the decisions that you need to make in the future. But if you in it for the bag, all of the time, in business, whatever business you do, sometimes you might got to make sacrifices in the beginning to get the bag in the long run. And if you believe in yourself, sometimes you might got to do that. So I can't say what's the best decision. I don't even know what type of situation Meek was offering them or providing for him or ready to give him, or I don't even know what the situation was. But what I'm saying is sometimes don't just look at the money. You know what I mean? Sometimes opportunities is better than money. Sometimes people got a bunch of money and spending it every day trying to build connects and figure out how to get it done. And they got the money, but they just don't know what to do with the money. And people know that they don't know what to do, so they taking advantage, charging more, not really giving them nowhere to go. So they just blowing a lot of money. You know what I mean? So it ain't always about the money if you get the opportunity to be successful and shine and get lit, because now your brand is worth money. And if you figure out a way to capitalize off it, then you could be good. But every artist is not the same. Every artist don't know the same information, and every artist not trying to take the same grind. So I would have had to see the contract and to know the details to be able to elaborate more on that. But this is a business, and like what Poundside did, if somebody offer you something that you don't like, you got the right to turn it down. You don't have to sign it. Nobody got a gun to your head like, yo, take this 10,000. If that's not what you feel like you worth, you feel like you worth more and you feel like you deserve a better situation, then turn it down and keep it moving and believe in yourself until the next situation come around. Because that's what I did plenty of times. Plenty of times I had to turn down deals, offers, opportunities that plenty of people were saying you should have took. Like when battle rap like started getting a little more popular and started to get more money in it, they started offering me smaller amounts, 20,000 in the beginning. Then it went up to 40,000. Then it went to 50,000. Then it went to 75,000. And I'm turning these offers down. And I hear people like, yo, he should have took that. What is he doing? He's so stupid. Yo, you would never get this type of money. And because they just ain't understand the business. They didn't understand what I was worth. They just commenting off what they was used to until I came back and got 250,000. And then it looked like, you know what I'm saying? But if I would have took them lower numbers, I would have never been able to get to that number. You know what I'm saying? So these people just got to understand the business and what they worth and believe in yourself. And you don't got to take what niggas offer you. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
What's up, Cass, man? I appreciate you giving your perspective on that.
But let me give y'all some, like a breakthrough story. Before Meek got his deal and before Meek got on with Rick Ross and them, I offered Meek a deal and he turned it down. You know what I'm saying? With the situation that I had with E1 at the time, you know what I'm saying? They was willing to give him an opportunity. Wasn't the best opportunity, but it still was a situation, and I offered it to him and he felt like, you know what I mean, he wanted to do something else. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes it is good to accept deals and sometimes it's good to turn them down. It just depends on what you see best for you. You know what I mean? In your brand.
Yeah, do you think that would have opened up an opportunity for Meek to release his Flamer mixtape series on E1?
I'm not sure around the time limit. I think it was after he probably released some of them.
Right.
But
We're just trying to give him a bigger platform.
yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I was bringing them out to New York and bringing them to shows and just letting a lot of people know about them. And you know what I mean? And when I was doing that, the people that I was down with was saying, like, if you wanted to sign him and bring him on under you, we'll give him an opportunity, like, because he buzzing. So I let him know that, you know what I mean? And that's how it goes sometimes, though. You know, you don't have to take deals if you don't want to take them. So if it wasn't enough money or it wasn't what you expected, you can turn it down. Or you could just counter offer. Like, you know what I mean? You can have your peoples write up something different and hand it back and see if they accept it or not.
So I want to ask you about Gilly the Kid. Did you two ever have a relationship, being that you were both from Philly?
What you mean as far as relationship? Like we knew each other. I knew Gillie before I had a deal. Like I was running around battling even back in the day. So like Dutchy man, he wanted me to be in the figures. Like he came to me and wanted me to be in the figures. And he was in another group, like you know what I'm saying, and he wanted me to be in that group too. So it was times when like me and Nina Ross, like we went down in the house with all of the figures and it was just me and her. She wasn't my team, but we was rocking with each other at the time and we went there giving it up, was like giving it up to the figures. So, and plus we from around the same, pretty much the same way. Like, you know what I'm saying? I grew up at 17th and Erie. So they like not too far away. So we was around the same hood. So I knew all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ab Lava used to come and pick me up in this truck. Them niggas is older than me. So I was like a super young boy. He used to pick me up in his truck. I used to be spitting bars back then and he knew I was a monster. Like, you know what I mean? So niggas knew me from way back in the day, even before I had a deal.
So Cass, let me ask you then, why did you ultimately never decide to join the major figures?
Nah, I just, like at that time, especially, like I just wasn't in, I just was trying to develop myself. Like I was really on some cash shit. Like it's just me. Like I wasn't really like in no group type vibe. Like I ain't even really understand the business enough of a group. And I ain't just really like that feel at that time, especially with those type of people. Like they wasn't really my friends. Like I told you, like I knew them and I would see them, but we didn't like grow up together. I ain't know them. I mean, so I would have felt out of place a little bit. You know what I mean? And the ones that I got coolest with was Dutch. Like we started to hang around, hang out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I went to Dutch house, like rest in peace, but I met his mom. Like I know his brother, like, you know what I mean? Me and Dutch was really hanging out. We used to run around the city battling niggas, used to go down South Street and start ciphers and battle niggas down South Street back in the day. Like, so me and Dutch probably had the most relationship out of the niggas that was in the figures. And then Ab Lava second, like he used to pick me up in his truck with me a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he was like older. I really had a real relationship with his little brother, Anwar. I think he done life for a lot of time. I think he got life for a lot of time. He booked, but that was my nigga, Ab Lava little brother, Anwar. That was my nigga, like, so. But I don't think I would have been right for the figures. That's why I never did that. But the figures had it on Smash, man. I was a super fan. I just was on the phone with Dutch the other day singing one of the verses where he blacked out on the radio. Line for line, probably know this shit better than him. Like them niggas was moving and shaking at one time. And you know what I mean? So God give it up for them. They did a lot for the city and inspired a lot of niggas that came after them to want to rap and do their thing. So can't count them out. You can't, like, you know what I mean, forget about what the figures did.
They say that Jay-Z modeled state property after the figures. Do you find any logic in that?
I'm pretty sure, man. That's what these industry dudes do. They model stuff after other stuff. I mean, that's what every artist do. You know what I mean? It's a real artist does that, but it's like undetectable. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you could take something, you could thieve something, but it's undetectable. You know what I mean? Then you a real artist. So that's what niggas been doing forever. So they probably felt some type of vibe of how them Philly niggas was carrying it and wanted to create a similar type of energy. You know what I mean? But it's only right. It was winning, so why not? And then you see state property won again. And so it wasn't a
Right.
bad move. I mean, it is what it is.
And that goes back into what you were saying earlier about Jay-Z wanting state property to be the forefront of Philly. But honestly, at that point, you had become the face of Philly. So you sort of sidetracked his plan.
For sure, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely put a little wrench in this shit.
Monkey wrench. Yep.
Yeah, I definitely played a little part in that. But I needed to, because at that time I was trying to get on and they was a whole team. They had a whole clique. There's a bunch of them niggas repping different parts of the city and all that. And it's just like me. So it's like, nah, like, nah, like niggas gotta know how I give it up, man. I had the city on my back by myself before I left the city. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was the one carrying it. So it's like, nah, I need my position. And I ain't had nothing against freeing them. It's not like I had a plot to battle them. That's not what I wanted to do. It was Jay-Z that did that. He was the one popping shit and set that up like that. So it's like, you know what I mean? I ain't really want to battle them like from my city, like the city going at each other. But the way Jay-Z was talking shit, and then when they seen me and the way they was coming in there, like they ain't give a fuck, like they was riding with their team. And it's like, man, just get it. Like it don't matter if you was on Rough Riders, you could have been like, it don't matter. Even them niggas was getting it at that time. So definitely a nigga from a different team could get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter.
So, yo, Cass, in one of your interviews, this is going back to Gilly the Kid. In one of your interviews, you were asked about Gilly being the king of Philly. Why were you hesitant at that point in giving him the crown?
I don't even know how that worked. Like, what type of work do you got to put to deserve the crowd? Like, how do that go? Like, I don't even know like what you got to do to be considered to be a king. Like, it upset. I don't really know. That's why I said I run Philly. I ain't trying to be the damn king, but that damn thing could get pulled like a hamstring on innocent man. But I don't even know what the requirements is to be a king of somewhere, man. Like niggas need to really focus on what's important. Like niggas, like not just the person that's saying they the king, but us, period, the culture. We don't own enough property. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't even really own these neighborhoods and these cities that we claiming. Like, you know what I'm saying? What we claiming the king of, like, we don't even own enough of that place. We don't even got enough say so politically. Like, if we owned enough of it, then what happens there, as far as everything, as far as how the police it, as far as how everything go, we would have a big say so. But we don't got no real say so. So how can you really be the king of something? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably why I ain't know how to really answer that question because I don't even know the requirements. But I'm not trying to be the king. So if he want to say he the king, that's cool with me. Like only time I would have an issue if I felt like I was the king and he was saying he was the king, then we would have an issue. But I don't want to be the king, so let them rock with it. Unless somebody else want to be the king and got an issue, then they could go through it. But I don't give if he say he the king or not. He definitely did put in work. Like I said, Figures had it on Smash before I even started rapping and getting on, like doing my thing. So I guess for that reason, as far as the time period that he did his thing, and you said that Jay-Z modeled state property after him, which was a bunch of other people that came from Philly. So in that aspect, he might look at it like, all right, who knows why he say that? I ain't never talked to him about it, but it's cool with me. I don't got no issue with that shit.
Well, you know, king of New York, king of the South, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't want them titles. I don't want to be the king. I don't want to be the top goon. I don't want to be none of that. When I rap, I want to be the best. Bars, I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest with this rap shit. That's what I claim. Nobody can claim that they better than me with this shit. In no city. I don't give you from my city or no city. So that's what I rap. All them other titles, I don't give a about that.
So, yo, one thing I will say is that Gilly does support you when it came to these battles. So I want to ask, how did you and Gilly put everything to the side? He was actually supporting you during one of your last battles right on stage with you.
Me and Gil, we never had no issues, man. Like all that shit Gil was doing on, me and Gil never even argued before. Like I don't know what niggas be making this shit up and be making like creating this energy. I mean, niggas might be feeling some type of way about how I carry it. Like, and if I put the shoes on the other foot, if I was them, I would probably feel some type of way about how I talk. Like I'm the GOAT, how I carry it, how cocky I am, and for how many years I've been able to keep it the same. Like a lot of shit been changing. Niggas been going through fluctuations and a lot of problems, but not me. So I could see that energy making niggas feel some type of way. That's probably why they might say stuff or make faces or do things that I don't understand. But I don't got a time to focus on that. Like what them niggas think or what's going through their head is not going to determine what I'm going to do or where I could take it. Like that's just going to sidetrack me thinking about them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really give a fuck about that part. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just know when I get on the phone with the nigga or anytime he see me, it's nothing but respect. Last time I seen that nigga, Cass, what's up? Shook my hand, hugged me. The last time we met, like anything on a blog or like even if you next to me, but I'm looking this way and you over there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when I'm looking you in your eye. Last time, yo, Cass, what's up? And hug me. So it's all love with me. And every time it's always been that way. It's not like we never argued or he said, yo, I'm going to do this and none of that. So it's like, it is what it is. Like, there's no problems with me and Gil.
He was telling Goods that Cassidy was going to roast him in the battle. He's telling Goods that he should be ready. That shows me how much unity there really is in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's unity to a certain extent, but there need to be more. You know what I'm saying? Niggas need to figure out how to be unified more, and niggas need to figure out how to get money more together. I think that's the issue. It's a bunch of fronting and dumb shit going on, but niggas ain't really figure out how to bring a real bag to the table so a bunch of niggas could eat. Other cities figured it out. Other people figured it out, but I don't think Philly figured it out yet. And the people that did figure it out, they moved on. They went other places and they don't with Philly no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think we need to be more unified. Some of the shit we was talking about earlier, like with the Meeks, like there's always constant negative energy. Niggas is always beefing. Niggas is never seeing eye to eye in the city. Like, you know what I mean? But that's how our city is, man. It's like a fighting city. We raised to be like super competitive like that. So it ain't like you're gonna be able to get it out of a nigga once he becomes successful. It's gonna be more in a nigga. So I don't know. It's just gonna take people with leadership qualities and people that played a part for a certain period of time to try to do it. Like me. Like when I put that City of Brotherly Slugs record together, it was people on that record that don't fuck with each other, that would have never did a record. And if it was somebody else trying to put it together or they was responsible for putting it together themselves, they would have never did a record with those people. But I made it happen because I was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Me throwing that thing in Philly was able to bring people out and show people that the city is a certain way, like in a big way, like in a big look, like foreign sitting outside, like everybody partying the whole night. This shit is a sold out shit. Shit look lit for the city. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just going to take people that's in position to start playing certain parts to help the younger niggas fall in line more. Because now all that they see is the key to success is dissing niggas and beefing with niggas and exposing niggas. And that's the key to success. Even to this day, like a recent project I just dropped called The Science. I dropped the project after that called The Formula, but on The Science is featured with K Walker. Another nigga from Philly doing battle rap and music, up and coming. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still tapping into the city, reaching out, doing shit with niggas to keep it moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm never gonna stop. Just did some shit with Brizzy on the beats. He on my new album. He did the Rule the World track. You know what I mean? Crazy producer from the city, up and coming, shutting shit down. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm still trying to tap in and work with the city and work with niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? My graphic designer from the city, from Philly. Danny, like putting niggas on, just trying to, you know what I mean, constantly tap in with the city and bring niggas together in any way that I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just seen you and CIcero in the same video. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, for sure. What video? Hold on, what video?
It was it was a video that was after one of the rap battles. You know, when you was doing an interview and CIcero had walked up. I was really shocked to see you guys together. It seemed like you guys had issues, but maybe it was just really a music thing.
You know, I raised Cis, bro. Like from day one, I had Cis around me. Him and this nigga named Tanner Black, they used to be like in a little group. And I don't know if they was in a group or they was just close or something like that, but I know he used to bring them to my house. I used to teach them niggas about shit, how to put bars together. Them niggas used to hear my shit all the time. And because of that, when he started to get, started to do his thing, he got a lot of comparisons to sounding just like me. Everybody like, yo, you sound just like Cass. And it went from like, when you're trying to get nice and they say you sound like Cass, it could be flattering. But after you feel like you got your shit together and niggas keep comparing you, you could get frustrated. So the frustration started leading to niggas saying and doing shit. So that's where it seemed like we had some type of beef and all that. But there wasn't no real shit. Like I remember he was around with Game, and I seen him at a concert. We was doing like Summer Jam or some shit like that, or one of them type of concerts. You know what I'm saying? Out and he was fucking around with Game at the time, and we had to go run down on him like Game with me, like you know what I'm saying. So as soon as I seen him, I had to talk to sis, and I had to ask him like, "Yo, sis, like, come on, bro, like you know, like I mean, like stop it, man, like." But that was old shit, like you know what I'm saying. That was old, a long time ago. That video you seen was more recent, like you know what I'm saying. I think like last year or something when we had the battle. So you know what I mean? That shit was old shit. Niggas put that shit behind them. Sis cool. And I knew the reason why I was going like that. It's not because he really hated me or had no animosity. He just was frustrated with, you know what I mean, shit he was hearing and shit that was going on. So I kind of understood it, but, you know, I still had to address it a little bit. You know what I mean? So even when I used to do records, like I was addressing him and Mook at the time when I did the block pop, but the strip for Rocks got a fist for bull pop shit, that hot shit I got a clip for. Like, you know what I mean? I was like sending little, but it wasn't a big enough issue for me to like really go crazy on them and like make it a big deal. And I knew it wasn't nothing from the beginning. So as soon as we got a chance to talk and all of that shit, patched it up and that shit wasn't about nothing.
What did you think about when the Game picked CIcero up? And is that when you guys sort of disconnected?
Nah, it was before that. When he got with Game, that's when I got the chance to holler at him about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But Game always been my nigga. Like y'all could pull up videos with me and the Game in the studio freestyling with each other. Game actually say I'm number one. Like he like, yo, this nigga number one, I'm number two. Like, you know what I'm saying? Game always showed me love, had love for the bars and how I carry it. I fuck with Game. Even on records, like I think when he dissed Meek, he had like mentioned me, riding through playing Cass, like Game fuck with me. So I definitely fuck with Game from the beginning. And so I know when he got with Sis, it was for a reason. So Sis had that Cass in him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I said I raised him, and that's what Game like. He liked that type of shit. So because Sis had it in him, that's the reason why he probably was around Game. So, you know what I mean? It was like flattery to me. I was happy to see that.